A bright light on the white marble is briefly blinding me as I take a step outside from a private reception hall, eyes adjusting to the outside. The city's bustling, but I can taste the iron on my tongue and a sulphur in the air. Something is brewing, and the clouds grow thicker, dotted off a silver sun with foreboding grays. I was waiting for this moment, but anxiety grips me. The marble cracks beneath my grip as I stare ahead. Maybe we will answer this time. Maybe there's a solution. Maybe it won't all be in vain. Our last efforts have led nowhere, and the few people I can trust have confirmed as such. What parts are still myself? What are already the other? Was it ever something else, or just something I've always been? Lightning flashes across the clouds as rain begins pouring down. This lack of red both terrifies me and relieves me, but mostly I feel anger. And yet I see a starry sky beyond it. Which one is real? Egg? Words leave my lips. I don't remember saying, but I sense that it must be mine. The silence of no one, Corena, speak for this endeavor. Let my legions hear that we'll begin the all-out assault tonight. The safety of our people cannot wait for their schedule. Of course, my lord. Shall we prepare for the offerings to them? Always. We are under their patronage, but we are under your rule, unlike them. These thoughts are best kept to yourself. A part of me was agreeing. I'd grown to hate them. We have a familiarity gone when all I was given was their messes to clean up and slaps on my wrist for what I was praised initially. That moment I think I understood the sheer owner. Yet again Varasuans handing over their neglected duties to someone else. I hate how I can't even argue against it. But Part is right, it's been the case forever and a day. Is it still the same day? It's just as cloudy and I'm out on the pale streets, waiting for them. Lightning, voices distant and far. Who's talking? Why won't it stop? Why am I here again? I can't think. I can't breathe. I can't. Kodik! Navdeen slightly panics. Just try to steady your breathing. Kodik had said nothing since boarding the shuttle alone alongside Navdeen, who had been talking the entire time. At some point, Kodik had begun freezing up, which Navdeen only realized belatedly. I'll take down the banners. I thought it would. Blinking a couple of times, steadying his breath, he puts on a smile and turns to Navdeem, who now with concern has grown quieter from his previous bubbly excitement. No, keep them up. It'll make it seem more official. Appearances are important. You know it just as much as I. He wants to vomit and can feel Bannick's grip still close, but now's not the time for that. Look, Kodik, I know there's a lot of pressure on you, and I haven't been helping, and I most all of you you placed it on yourself. We can wait another week or two. Heavens, even another month we'll find a way. You don't have to present yourself yet. I'm fine, Navdeen. Why am I still shaking? I need to get this under control. No Nova, no Corena anymore. No opal demons besides another me walking around making the universe a worse place and the consequences of my actions. And myself, I could be trying to fit the shoes of a man I'm not sure I even know. There's no time for any of this. Is this my penance? Just like when I can't appear weak. I can tell you're not. Come on. Have you grown more perceptive, or have I grown worse at presenting myself? Neither. I just know you well enough, which isn't something anyone can claim. Am I really? Nope, you're not going down that hole. I won't let you. You're a Kodak, end of story. My friend and my family. Neftin takes his hand. And you've got a big day, and everyone is asking a lot of you, just like I am, but you've risen to meet the occasion every time. I am sure you can do so again. But how? How? I am not. He turns his gaze to an unfeeling world beyond the glass of windows. Steady breath. I can't ruin the image of Kodak by not being that, and he'd never lose his control here. Indeed, now is not the time for that. Ha! Of course, who would I be if I did not lead by example? I want to curl up in the safety of my palace walls, but they don't exist anymore. I can't let you think I've grown weak over what has it been, more than 40,000 years? With the precision of a surgeon, he realigns his expression to be fitting for a man in control and confident. Everything for my country and people first. Kodak, I'm here now. This is what you wanted. Nothing. We'll talk about this when there's time for it. Just know I'm here for you. Let us go through the plans again instead of wasting time. Will that help? Avoiding the subject isn't going to work forever. It needs to be done. Nafteen sighs. This is exactly how he expected it to go. At the best of time, it took forever and a day to get Kotick to talk about how he felt. Worse now, but he knows that he's permanently being watched and likely with the guilt of, well, everything he placed on his own shoulders. All that, and Nafteen for once does not know what to say or do. He feels helplessly watching the man he brought back fall back onto trained behavior that they worked on together, to see the same patterns emerge again. There's familiarity in that, but a bit of time on the network has done a lot for Nefdeen to recognize that there's more than just surviving. Obviously, there is that too, but there can be karaoke or just exploring places and ideas. There is space for that. And now he's watching Kotick not even giving himself a space to do more than fight, without a way or a solution to advocate for something else. There just isn't the time for that. We've done good work on the symbol. We've combined some of the old and made something new to fit with the times. Enough of the old, of course, but we've taken up the religious symbolism as you requested. Let us not give purchase for these dead gods to return. This universe should have forgotten about them and us. We have no place in it, so we must carve one out for us. Not for them. Nafteen, somewhat relieved at his friend refining his usual words, lets out a sigh of relief. Clearly Kotick was alright, and this was just a fluke. The preparations are halted with their arrival. In order to receive everyone at once, Nafteen had plotted a planetoid to route the Tessite and Macintosh too, with Argus being aboard the Tessite capital vessel. Upon the request, a good amount of their free will has been returned once some necessary edits had been made. The hard work would be on Kotick, he insisted. He had to convince him himself. I'll make sure everything is ready, as you planned, on my side. By now, Kotick had fully regained control over his emotions, and his eyes gives Nadine a wide smile. No time like the present. That is the home of ambition, and this might be our most ambitious goal yet, Nafteen. Watch it, or Karina might hear you. Nafteen's surprise is only met with an immediate hard no. Force of habit. They can remain dead, gone and erased for all I care. If not, that is one thing we other and I agree on. That time is over. Understood, my lord. Checking over his robes, reimagined to fit with the times, but enough of the old style to at least give a modicum of familiarity. Kotick checks himself twice over in the mirror, mostly to ensure his expression is right, a chiseled face of confidence. A man who moved nations, who united worlds. It feels so far, so distant. No, now is not the time for that. He gives a sign for doors to be opened. Standing at the entrance, he is flooded with light. Not the silver scourge of his memory, but the desolate warmth of a star not known to him, lacking the despondency and emotionality of the one from days gone. Yet before him is a view that he's familiar with. Not this one in particular, but the idea of it. A podium carved into the rock, practical by giving an elevated enough position that he can be seen from even the furthest back rows. No statues, but banners waving in the wind carrying the new symbol. Fires light as he steps outside, his eyes immediately adjusting to the surroundings. No longer blinded, the details become clear. The crisp air that smells foreign. He knows from Nefdeen he couldn't breathe it if it weren't for the modification made. The long shadows cast by three armored figures kneeling, beyond them falling in formation, and in their shadows are millions, neatly in rows and brackets, the front rows taken up by those in the most elaborate armors. Banners held high in the colors of each Caladria. A murmur, not deathly quiet, at his side. Eyes staring. So many eyes that are staring at him. A cloudless sky. Nafteen at the back, keeping to his shadow. Not one of them he can afford to disappoint. He takes the first step. His breathing feels heavy, but he smiles. His heart grows heavy, but he takes another step. His hands are shaking, but he hides it in a trained gesture. Grand and glorious, it silences the ones at the front, sending a wave of criers through the gathering. He avoids to look at the scepter as he steps away from the ramp and takes position. A HUD lights up in his vision. He has got the hang of it by now, and directs the inputs with his thoughts to enable the broad comms. Everyone who wishes to hear this of his gathering and of the network will be able to hear him. When his sight finally falls onto the free scepter, clad in gold, red, and gaudily impractical decorations that will make any of his private guard have a field day to pick apart, is a man he did not expect to see. Intrigo? The HUD displays the name Argus. Oh, the cruelty of this. Memories of Intrigo flood him, but he pushes them aside. He immediately turns to look at the other two, trying to force himself to remain here now. After all, now was not the time for this. Behind him, Caborn Ewell, head of the Tessite, more practical, or at least an attempt was made at practicality, held in simply greys and greens that are jarringly broken up by the same gold decorations, albeit with different heraldry. His voice stone cold, but his eyes betrayed surprise. Next to him, Ferocious Carbine of a Macintosh, a grin on his face, and his appearance surpasses Argos when it comes to Codic's gaudy label. Golden tassels rustle in the breeze. Once sufficient pause, he levels his head to stare ahead, fixating his gaze on the horizon the way he has done many times. Every motion, every look, must fall within the plan of presentation. Nefdin receives the signal and announces him, His Grace, Imperious Codic the First! They're shouting, roaring, but the Septa remain quiet. They know better than to shout. And so it begins. Extending his left arm out to salute everyone gathered, and then motion outward, he addresses everyone, returning quiet to the gathering. People of Gloria Eterna, noble legions of the Empire, sons and daughters of your nation, I stand before you now. Long have you wept, long have you cried, and longer have you suffered, but I am not your salvation. He begins, a murmur breaking out again. Behold not the idol for which you gathered here. He pauses, his gaze still fixed on the horizon. But the man that has come to address you. Hear not the words you wish to hear, but the ones that must be said. We are all traitors. Argos furrows his brows, but Navdeen motions for them to remain quiet. Traitors to what people like yourself had once built. Traitors to the ideals we once represented. Traitors to the world we called our home. Traitors, every single one of us. I, myself, included. He takes another step forward for the first time lowering his gaze, letting it sweep across the confused mass. It never changes. It is no easy task to see for what it is, but as you see me, it is my duty to see you, and it's time to turn inward and behold the cancer that has ruined our once glorious nation. Gloria Mary was built upon the shoulders of its people, and yet what do I find? Citizens to citizen, at each other's throat. Gloria Mary was built upon equality, and yet Gloria Eterna could not be any less equal within and without. Gloria Mary was built upon merit, of opportunity. What price have each of you paid to be here? He begins pacing, his gaze never leaving the gathering. You've left behind all that we stood for, what we once conquered, we united. We illuminated those in the dark to be elevated next to us, to scorch away the cancer of those who threatened our day-to-day, and give light to those cowering in the dark of fear. It is not the mothers that steal food stamps to feed their children who threatens our day-to-day. It is not the Xenos that hides terrified before your might, scarred of their executions. The cancer threatening Gloria Eterna is Gloria Eterna itself. It has grown complacent, placid. Each word scathing like a lash. Rotten. He pauses, returning to face them all. The story of Gloria Mary has always been one and the same. To overthrow the status quo, to eliminate tyrants, and to unite our people under one banner against the threats that sought to oppress us. So I do not stand before you as Emperor of Gloria Eterna. I stand before you as the same man that once walked into Asshole and challenged the Regentas for his failings. I ask you now, who dares to challenge me? His smile doesn't fade, but Cody isn't dumb enough to not notice that the scepter of the Macintosh has been increasingly aggravated. Ferocious, frothing at his mouth, screams, Imposter wearing the skin of our glorious emperor! I will strike you down! No matter what, this was necessary and to a degree expected. Nefdin had thoroughly briefed him, and Ferocious was most likely to act rashly. Rushing at him, while Argus observes and Yuval's gaze is fixed on Nefdin, less so Codic, he draws an impractically designed knife meant to look more impressive as that it was wieldy. Yes, you must strike down the impostor wearing the skin of the glorious emperor. Meeting the blade of the scepter with a gladius that he had requested to be made for him, the sparks flying off the Dura Ceramo edge of a simple blade, and its ridiculous mirror light up Codic's eyes. Direct your blade against the one that brought ruin to our homes. With a single motion, years of experience, enhanced by whatever the hells they did to him, pushes back Ferocious, his blade clattering to the ground, dumbfounded. I am no imposter. Lies. Your life has been spent worshipping one. Now you have the opportunity to finish what your forebears started. Have I not met you face to face, Septa Ferocious Carbine? Singled out, Ferocious wind has been taken from his sails somewhat. When was the last time your emperor sought to address his people as a man? He's far too busy to waste his time on common folk. Only a poor leader ignores his people. When was the last time he looked inward to see how his people suffer? None suffer under his rule. Yet the hive cities have more people dying of hunger than from your sworn enemies. Cody continues pressing him. When was the last time? Enough. Agostero stands up from his knees. Brother, you've already lost. Return to your place and don't embarrass yourself further. Your emperor is speaking. You've always been slow to catch up. Apologies, emperors. They exchange a gaze, Argus and Kodak. Like cold water, it is the same eyes. Apologies, dears emperors. I couldn't stop him from starting your presence earlier. To think I dared to interrupt your speech out in the open like that. It is every citizen's right to voice their concerns. In an orderly manner, yes, but not interrupting ceremony and decorum. Enrico, it would be no better than with a cure if we silence every voice. Besides, an ill-placed accusation can be a boon. This was expected. What? To summon publicly and they turn on each other. Watch and learn. He pushes away the memory. He merely mourns what many of you must have thought. These are confusing times. The lies you've known and the leader you have worshipped have been a lie, and you stand within its rubble. This uncertainty must not be. As Ferocious red-faced returns to his position and Argus returns to his kneel, Kodak once more utilized the position of his stand to illuminate him from behind, his shadow casting long and wide across the gathering, to continue. My vision is clear. As you have once fought for a place, you must fight for it again. Our enemy is not the people misguided by falsehoods, but the one that created them. Suffer not the pretender that wishes to bring ruin to all for the sake of ruin. Suffer not the silence of complacency. Suffer not the impostor, but heed the call to arms. He raises his own blade, the light reflecting from it. He calculates the angle. It perfectly creates a brief beacon cutting through the long shadow. Raise your weapon once again, and march under the banner of a united universe. Hold your head high, knowing you exhausted your own merit in the pursuit of your ideal. Feel the pride of a nation worth fighting for. This was the difficult part, but he had placed strategic Nefdines in the crowd. The first few followed suit, and surprisingly, it was Yuval before Argus would raise his weapon in turn. There is no Emperorus without its nation. There is no nation without its people. For I am one of you, and together we are Gloria Communa Unita. Nefdine, echoing his words, is joined by the first few, until there is a united shout. Scream and rage against the injustice of falsehood that have blinded you for too long. Tear aside, lose not the sight of those around you as you train your gaze on the enemy. Macintosh, forget not those marching with you as you leave the front. Tear down who thinks of itself as eternal, when it's only a stagnant husk of a nation. The crowd cheers, but he silences them again. Yet I will not demand you to blindly follow suit. What lies ahead is peril. The odds are against us. Many will not see the truth for what it is, preferring to reside blind. You will fight side by side with some you previously only knew as enemies, but the bravery is just as exemplar as your own. Temper your blade in hatred, so that it may cut sharp up the right throat. I need no butchers, I need my Caladia. Will you once again raise your arms and fight by my side? He pointedly looks at the septa, giving him a chance to speak. Argus, seizing the moment, speaks up first. My Caladia may be lost through words of your impostor that misled us, but we will see reason. I will fight by your side, the side of my emperor, to see them liberated still. Then you are welcome at my side, so that we may return to yours, Argos. But Tessite has always sought to find the truth in between the chaos with every shot. It is embarrassing we missed this, as we were distracted to hunt down shadows. Yuval says much more nonchalantly, but a weak smile flushes across his face. Who would the Tessite be if it did not shine in its absence brighter than the falsehoods ahead? Let your sides remain true even in this cause, Caborn. Eyes lock onto Ferocious. We've always known that Tyrannia endorses me too complacent to know what's real and what's not. He coughs. You've passed my test, Emperors. Our hearts are steel and our hands will carry your blade. Thank you, Ferocious. Let's give your Caladia a reason to carry themselves with a pride they are known for. We take position behind him as Kodak faces the gathering again. Let us lead the charge for a tomorrow forged by our hands, for us and every future citizen, for everyone that wishes to fight on, for Gloria Communa Unita. The septa simply shout, for Gloria Communa Unita, as the gathered Caladia join. While everyone is celebrating, Cody can feel himself wavering. He's leading them, most likely to the death of most of them. How many would actually live to see the dream he's selling them? How many more will curse his name sooner as the veil celebrated? Can't believe you were all concerned. The voice of Nadine cuts through the clouds of his mind. You still have it in you. You still know how to dress your people, I mean. No divinity needed. Ah, yes, that. So, what's the next plan? Gathering these septa and planning my demise. You mean the imposter's demise, that's not you, Kodik. Neftine's stony response, cutting him off. Figure of speech. There's time to unpack all of this once the war's ended. You know me. I know you'll push yourself until you break or until it's done. And that is exactly what is needed. There's no time for anything else. Organize the meetings, if you could. We'll have to slowly introduce the changes and introduce the Balba plan. Yes, my lord, if you don't mind me asking, why not Gloria Mary? Gloria Mary fell when the imposter took charge. Let it rest in the old universe, where I belong. The world has gotten larger. There's a whole universe, and it needs a united common if it wants to survive. That is what we fight for. Bloody Glory Eternal. It couldn't have gotten more self-absorbed. But Gloria Mary was better? It wasn't the one that named the nation back then. Now I get to name our rebel nation. And you keep the glory? Tradition for tradition's sake. Our soul was built upon its own ruins. We should not forget that. I've missed you, old friend. I'm glad I live up to the memory, Nefdine.